All right, guys, we want to welcome everybody to YouTube Model Builders Tuesday night presentation hangouts and the Geno Show. Tonight, our special guest is Taki Haywood, and he's going to be giving us an update on his HH&J model railroad. But before we turn it over to Taki, let's just give it a few pay a few bills here real quick. I want to remind everybody to check out www.youtubemodelbuilders.com. You can find out all the information about the live show. The next show is this coming Saturday night. And I believe the topic is it's going to be tools for model railroading. And also it is the 2-year anniversary of the show. So y'all be sure to tune in to Big Bill and Barry and wish them a happy 2-year anniversary. I think Miles Hales is going to be one of the guests on there as well. The Tuesday night hangout topic-driven presentations with myself, Barry, Mike, Dude, Troy. These are every other Tuesday night of the month. The next one will be May the 17th, and that's going to be Barry and Mike's Tech Show, and they're going to be discussing signaling. So that should be a good one, so y'all be sure to check out Barry and Mike. And the Thursday night general topic hangout with Johnny. That's every Thursday night. And the YouTube Model Builders eMag. The new mag just come out. eMag just come out this month. It's a real good issue. So y'all be sure to go to the website. You can register online there, and it will be emailed to you every other month, free of charge. So y'all be sure to check out www.youtubemodelbuilders.com.
Geno.
All right, Taki. Thank you for being with us tonight and talking about the new version of the HH&J Railroad. But before we kick that off, just kind of give us a little overview of your previous version and what really decided to make you make the decision to start all over and with a new layout and a bigger plan.
Hey, Geno, before you get started there, you said the next show was May 17th? That's today's date.
Okay, well, that's my date then. Well, it'll be 2 weeks from today. I'm sorry. Let me check my calendar. You might see. Okay, that's going to be the 31st, May 31st for Barry and Mike. So y'all be sure to check those out. All right, Todd, go ahead, bud.
All right. First of all, Geno, thanks for having me on the show again. It's a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Well, what made me change this layout was the fact me and my wife was deciding whether or not we was going to buy the home that we're in now or relocate. And, you know, we caught a good deal on this house, and y'all know how the wives can be sometimes. And first thing she said was, well, if we buy the house, then, you know, layouts got to go. I thought about it. I said, that's fine. I want to go bigger anyway. So I just went and got me a shed. And I just put everything out here in the shed. And been working on it now for what? Maybe, give or take, what, maybe 8 months, a little over that maybe. And as usual, I got in touch with Bill again, track planner. He designed my previous layout, and got with him, and he came up with a layout design that, you know, just caught my eye. And from then on, just been trying to do right by his track design, really. And so far, I like the way it turned out. Couldn't ask for anything different, really. But needless to say, I'll probably be contacting him in the future because my plan is to eventually go bigger. I'll probably end up getting another shed or either adding on to this one. And just really just staying busy out here, man. Just
what size? What size?
This is a good outlet. My previous layout, I think it was like maybe 11 by 13, something like that, and this one here is 12 by 20.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, I went one a lot bigger, well, at least lengthwise anyway. It's longer. So, and like I said, the track plan that he came up with, excellent, excellent.
How long
And
did how long did it take to get your new plan from the time you started to you guys got the paperwork in hand?
how long did it take him to do the track planning?
Mm-hmm.
I'll say give or take a little less than a month. I'll say maybe a good 3 weeks. He had after we went back and forth bouncing ideas off each other. Maybe about 3 weeks we had a general idea of the kind of approach that I wanted to go with. And I mean the first week was really just bouncing ideas back and forth off each other. He'll send a rough draft, and say, well, I'm thinking about this, and what all structures do you want to have? What's the longest length of your locomotives, and all of that. What brand of turnouts are you using? Flex track, and all of that. And like I said, once I pretty much gave him all that, man, Bill just went for what he knew. And let's see, the first, well, okay, maybe the second plan that he came up with, we went back and made some adjustments. And after that, man, it was just all downhill from there. It was just getting the material and starting on the staging yard.
Well, for somebody that may be watching that are fixing to start a layout or debating changing, when you decided to make the change, what did you want out of the new layout that you didn't have in the previous? Was there anything in particular that you were looking for?
One thing that I really wanted was a longer yard. That's the one thing that I wanted, a longer yard. And once I pan the camera around, once we get to that point, y'all will definitely see that this is a nice size yard. It's a nice size yard. And, the lower level staging, that's awesome too as far as, staging tracks. And one thing about Bill here, he's big on, prototypical operations. And once he explained to me how the layout will operate, it all made sense, with the lower level staging and all of that. So, I mean, I could have a train go down the staging and, bring another one up, and it's like, a different train coming from another area, I was like, okay. That's one thing about him. He will send you paperwork on how, the layout would operate.
Had you done operations prior to this, or planned for operations?
No, really, I would come out, even on the previous layout, I'll just go back there and, funnel around, maybe do a little switching here and there. As far as just really diving off into operations, I have yet to do it. But, once I eventually get to ballasting, and once I get the ballast down, then yeah, I'm definitely going to, start some op sessions just to, get a general hang of it, because what I've been doing this, going on 3 years now, I'm still relatively new to the hobby. So it's a lot that I need to, catch up on. As far as operations, almost clueless. Almost. Not totally, but almost. I know I watched a couple shows. They was talking about, the cars, the weight bill system, or, just using JMRI. Which, come to think about it, that's what I'll probably end up using on my signaling. I'll try to see if I can, control them through JMRI, which I should be able to. But by me using Logic Rail, I'm really not sure. I have to look more into it. But, there's a lot of stuff that I really need to, dive into and get the hang of.
Is it, you mentioned the lower level staging. Is this your first multi-level layout?
No, this is the second one. The first one I never really got around to laying the track on the lower level. I just, I can't even say I started with the helix, or did I? Well, yeah, I started with the helix and I stopped it there and I started working on the main level. I never really got around to laying track on the lower level, which in a way I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because that's less, I would have had to, tear down.
Right.
But the good thing about the way that the previous layout was, is I say a good 80% of the track I reused. And I used it all on the lower level staging, because, some of it was, soldered here and there, painted, just old looking or whatever. And I used all of it for the lower level staging. Turnouts and, well, almost all of the turnouts on the lower level from the previous layout, which was a good thing.
And you said you're building now. You're in an outbuilding, correct?
Yes, I'm in a shed.
Yeah, it's 12 by 20.
12 by 20. Yep.
Is that enough room you think for your layout, or I know you mentioned about expanding.
Oh yeah, that's definitely enough room. And Bill, when he goes by, designing the track plans, he asks, my height, which is, I'm 5'3", real down to earth type person, and everything is, pretty much waist level, and the aisleways are like, give or take 2 foot here and there. So I'm wider, especially in the area that I'm in now. It's a little bit wider than that. But yeah, I have plenty of room. It's just, you know how it is, when you're working on a layout and you just about got it wrapped up and you start to looking,
I always want more.
Exactly. So, I mean, halfway into building it, well, getting everything, in order, I was already thinking about going bigger. And, I'll say, if everything goes as planned, that'll be something, get started on early next year. All depends on how things go.
Right. Now, is your track complete now where you can actually run the whole layout?
Oh, yeah, totally complete. I was telling Andy before we got started that I got the last few turnouts in back here last week, I want to say, to finish out the staging track for the diesel house. And that was it. And right now I'm running trains.
Good deal.
Running trains.
What
was that?
On your bench work, just kind of cover that. Just what did you use for your bench work? What size lumber?
For the bench work, Bill desperately, well, I ain't gonna say desperately, but he suggested that I try the air girder bench work.
Mm-hmm.
But, I had my, concerns about, going that route, plus the fact that I never, tried air girder bench work. So I just went with, just a regular old bench work or whatever. I went with the lower level. I used half-inch OSB. But I mean, after looking at it, I was like, well, the OSB is not bad for the lower level staging because I'm not going to ballast it, or not too many people are going to see it, But for the main level, I went with half-inch plywood, BC grade, I want to say.
You ever use any foam core board, or are you going straight on top of the plywood?
Straight on top of plywood. But you know what, Geno, looking back on it, in some areas, I wish I would have went with foam board. But it's one reason why I really didn't. For some reason, in the area that I'm in, to get 2-inch foam board, man, it's the hassle. It's tough. Not too many places carry it. And I mean, I could get it from Lowe's, which the closest one from where I am is like maybe 30 miles or so. I could get it in 2-inch, but it's only like a 2x2, square piece. And I'm like, well, how many would I have to buy of this just to, do what I need to do? And I was like, well, $5 a pop. What, give or take $7? No, that's all right. So I just went straight plywood.
You would think, well, I'm in Alabama and you're in Mississippi, but we get the 2-inch 4x8s over here, or I've never had a problem finding them. Right. I've heard other people say, that it's a rare find.
Right. I mean, the closest Home Depot that I found was in, I want to say Macomb, Mississippi. I want to say Macomb, and that's that's like maybe a 2.5 hour drive just for a 4x8. sheet of foam board, no, that's all right.
Right.
Yeah, so I just decided against it, but I really wish that, you know, looking back on, you know, hindsight is 2020. If I could have just got, you know, maybe a ½ inch, 1 inch on the river scene area, I really could have, you know, saved myself some time in that area. But what I did end up doing is I went to Lowe's and I got some of what they had. I think they had some ½ inch, and I just used it to, you know, make my shape my scenery or whatever. And then I went over it with, you know, the plastic cloth or whatever. And a technique that I used, I mean, I've seen a lot of people do it this way, so I just said to myself, well, it makes sense, you know, just go over it with the, you know, brown paint or whatever color, you know, you want to use.
Right.
I used the brown paint, and while it was wet, I just started, you know, sprinkling in the fine turf. And once it dried, it pretty much just set, you know, it's there. It's done. And as far as, you know, the bushes and all that go, you know, I went back with, what, 50-50 mix of Elmer's and water or whatever. And a guy that I'm real close with by the name of Joe the Sprinkler, he suggested something to me because I was using wet water, you know, dish soap and water, whatever. He was like, try Windex. You know, I looked at him, you know, like, really, Windex? And I tried it, and hey, works wonderful, works wonderful. So I'll just spray it with the Windex and go back with the water and glue mix, and whoop, there it is.
Just straight Windex.
The first time I tried it was my previous layout with the Ballast.
It worked out good for you.
I don't know if I didn't have it mixed right, but I really couldn't get the Ballast to, you know, sit down where, you know, it'll break up the static or whatever.
Right.
It would just, you know, float. And I was like, man, that's a waste of ballast. And I talked to him about it. He was like, use Windex. Rate the Windex on it, and man, okay, good to go.
Just
Yep.
full strength Windex.
Full strength Windex. Yep. And matter of fact, on every piece of scenery that I've got, you know, put down is, you know, was sprayed with Windex, and then, you know, the water and glue mix.
Right.
Yep. Works wonderful.
How far along have you got with your scenery since you got started?
Tell you what, I'm gonna pan around. Give me a second here. You guys see?
Yeah.
Okay. Really, this area here, the only areas that I don't have scenery on is around the yard area.
All right, we see you. We're not seeing the layout. We're seeing you. Is that what?
Oh, okay. Let me try it this way. How about now?
There you go. Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Yeah, this is the only area that I don't have any scenery on right now. Is the, you know, the diesel house and the yard area. Like I was telling you guys earlier, when I told him that I wanted a larger yard, this is what he came up with. And like I said, that is indeed a nice yard.
Now, are you modeling a specific area, Taki, or are you freelancing?
Freelance. Yeah. As far as scenery go, this is one of the areas. Matter of fact, this is the first area I started on. And yeah, thank you. I started with the rocks, and the one thing that I dread that I did, that, you know, if I'd have just thought about it a little bit more, because for some reason when I get started, I don't know when to stop. I just keep going until, you know, my body's like, all right, that's enough time to shut it down. I just wish I would have, you know, did all my outcroppings at one time. Because, I mean, if you really look closely at it, I mean, it's not too bad, but you can tell that some of them the color is different from, you know, some of the rest.
What'd you make trees out of? I know you got a few. That's spirea, or that's I forget what those things are called. These things.
What I used what's that? Woodland Saints. And I had a box. I think I threw it away. That foliage kit, the tree making kit. I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's the canopy.
Right. Yeah, the canopy, the forest canopy. That's it.
That's a lot of trees. In one
yeah,
box.
you can get a good bit out of it. But I really want to try the super trees because I've seen the results of them, and the people that have them on their layout look good, man. They look good. The pine trees I ordered from a guy off eBay, and unfortunately I can't get back in touch with him. It's like he's not selling them anymore, so I'll probably have to find someone else. And these trees should stand out to you guys. These are long shadow trees from Bob, the ones that I won on the show. And I told him I was going to contact him pretty soon and get some more because I just like the variations of color that's in them. I mean, it really makes the layout look more realistic. I want to say this is the bridge that I was working on the last show I was on, Geno.
It looks good.
Yeah, I need to. Looking at it now, it looks more bluish than actually gray. So I'll probably go back with maybe a concrete color, a color close enough to concrete. And I still need to put the supports down or whatever. I just got it, sitting up there just to get a general view of how it would look.
I love the scenery, the break that it makes in the scenery. It divides the scenery. It makes, I think, those divisions and breaks cause the layout to feel a lot larger.
Yeah. Right. And Bill, this is one of the adjustments I made to the track plan. In this area was supposed to sit the cement company, but after going back looking at it, I was like, plus he had right here where the cement plant is and this shovel company. We had initially we was going to go with the coal mine kit or whatever. And I was like, well, because I had a lot of buildings left over from my previous layout. I was like, well, no need to buy more buildings when I got buildings already. So I just eliminated a few buildings, and instead of having to turn out here, I used it up here or whatever, and I just threw the cement plant up there and threw an extra building here. This is the last bit of scenery that I worked on was this area here. I still have more work to do on it, but I think it turned out. I think it turned out pretty good.
Taki, can you show a picture of your track plan there?
Sure. I can zoom in on the track plan right there. Can you see it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And matter of fact, where is it? This is the area here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna try it this way. This is the area here where we had the Glacier Gravel Company, and what I did was, well, first we had the Glacier Gravel Company, then he went back with a coal miners facility. What I ended up doing was taking the gravel company and placing it over here, which I think it looks a lot better because what I can actually do is, find like a backdrop of like, a gravel company with the gravel pit and all of that, and just make that all blend in together. Because what I was thinking about doing was actually going back and carving this little section here out just a little bit, kind of dropping it down, and just have the start of a little gravel pit there. But I don't know, all that is still up in the air right now. And really, this area here, because I work for Pepsi, I wanted the warehouse here. I'm gonna go back to the track plan, and as you can see, there's the the Pepsi distribution center, and this is the shovel company that I have sitting right here. So it was just a matter of just moving buildings around to get a better fit. And the one thing I did ask him about, because I don't know, I got a thing for grain elevators. It was one of the first kits that I put together, and I asked him, I was like, do you think me putting two elevator kits together would work. Because on my previous layout, I had two grain elevators, just in different locations. So I just took both of them and merged them together. And what I ended up doing was shortening this track here a little bit and actually placing the other one like right in front of it. So this is how it turned out.
Oh wow, that looks good.
Yeah. Hold on. There we go. Got it all wired up and everything.
Is that Walters? Walters
Yep.
kit?
All Walters. And what I ended up doing, which y'all know how it is on eBay. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. And the grain bins, I washed those for maybe 2 weeks, man, and couldn't catch a break on them for nothing in the world. And I finally just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and find one that says buy now. Go ahead and buy them and get it over with. And from there, I got the conveyor. Then I went with the wet dry bins, which I really like how they turned out. I was thinking about weathering them, but you know, if I do, I'll probably just end up going with just a little bit, not a lot, because you know what they say, you know, little goes a long way, or little, well, less is more.
Less is more. Yeah.
I got another conveyor belt here for the wet dry grain bins. I still have to put the little thingamajigs on there. Y'all excuse me, I don't quite know the names of them. I still have those in the house. I just hadn't got around to, you know, putting them on, because knowing me, I'll probably end up, you know, changing some things around again. Who knows? And then I got the what's this? The surge bin. And we come around to the what is this? The transfer building. It's wired up. But I think what I'm gonna end up doing, anything you guys can suggest that maybe it's you know, a strip of styrene or something that maybe I could paint gray to kind of, you know, eliminate some of the light leaking through.
Yeah.
I might.
Did you paint the interior on it? You may want to paint in a dark color.
Okay, no, I didn't paint the interior on it. Good thing about it is on a lot of my buildings, I don't have the roofs glued down on it. So
Hey,
I guess that was
Taki.
a good thing. What you got?
Woodland Scenics offers a kit that's called a blackout kit. It goes
Okay.
with their new lighting system that they've released, and it comes with like window films, and it also comes with this black, super dark paint that's thick, that you paint the inside of your buildings with, but it also comes with like this black putty that you can put in your seams and
Mhm.
around the bottom to seal it off.
Okay, good deal. Good deal.
Hey, Tiger, real quick, just got a comment from Lee Bocleckler. I believe that's how you pronounce the layout. It was really nice.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, another thing, Taki, I live up here in Michigan. We have a lot of cornfields. I don't know what it's like in Indiana, but all the aluminum bins like that on a sunny day, they just shine. They're not weathered. You know,
Okay.
the tops are a little bit darker than the sides, but not much.
Right.
Corrugated aluminum or whatever they're using to build those stays shiny for at least 10 years.
Okay. And matter of fact, the paint that I used was I used a gloss on it, and I think it turned out pretty good because with the light shining on it, got a nice little sheen coming off of it.
Yeah,
I mean, it turned out more than the grain bin.
If I was going to do anything to them, Taki, I may hit the roof. You know, the real top of the roof will just something
Up top
real
here?
light.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't do much else to it. I think it looks like it is.
Okay. And
That's
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Geno.
that was just my suggestion. I think, you know, if you do anything to it, maybe just the roof.
Okay. And this was one of my first attempts at using the some of the weathering powders. What did I use? One Dr. Benz. What's the other?
Bragdon, or
Say that again.
was it Bragdon, or
Yes, sir. Bragdon Enterprises, and when I first did it, I thought maybe I overdid it till I brought it out here and placed it on the layout, and I took a couple pictures of it. I was like, well, not half bad. I mean, it looks all right.
Mm-hmm. What did you use for your lighting? Are you LED in it or?
LEDs. Let me see. If I could zoom it. If I could zoom in. Can you see off in there? It's like a LED strip with maybe 2 lights on it. Can you see it?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I used. I just took those, and what I did was I put a little tape on it, double-sided tape, just pressed it down in there, ran the wires up under the bottom of the layout. Got all those going here to this terminal block. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but that's where the lighting for this area is. Which goes from this building, grain, the gravel. I have yet to install one in this building, which I just got it sitting here just to see, you know, how it will look, which I'll probably end up, you know, moving it. I mean, who knows? Probably, you know, put a couple gravel piles here and there. Like I said, right now everything is up in the air, and but now I got the lift out installed, and this is one of the areas right here, man, that this was basically like my main focus. I have a thing for you know, river scenes, and this is like one of my main focuses, which is probably why I hadn't really got back to it, because I'm still bouncing around ideas, just trying to see which direction I want to go. But I did know I wanted to have a little, you know, a little waterfall here, and then, you know, the river just flowing out or whatever. And I'm still trying to find the right backdrop, you know, to go with it, which, you know, like I said, hindsight is 20/20. I wish I would have did all that first and had it up and, you know, whatever. But hey, you live and you learn. Then you get loves, you know how the commercial goes.
That's it. But speaking of commercials, when we're right at the halfway point, let me do this little YouTube plug, and we'll get right back to you, Todd. Remind everybody, check out www.youtubemodelbuilder.com. Find out all the information for the live show. The next one's coming up this Saturday night with Barry and Bill. The topic is going to be model railroad tools, and it's also the second anniversary of the live show. Y'all be sure to tune in for that. Wish them a happy second anniversary. The Tuesday night topic-driven hangouts every other Tuesday night with myself, Troy, Barry, and Mike, dude. Don't forget Johnny's general topic Thursday night hangout and the YouTube Model Builders eMag, free publication from the YouTube Model Builders. It comes out every other month. The new issue is out now, so y'all be sure to sign up on the website, and it's free, and they'll email it to you every other month straight to your inbox. That's www.youtubemodelbuilders.com. And again, the next hangout for Barry and Mike is going to be May 31st, and that's going to be on Signaling. So y'all be sure to check Barry and Mike out. Okay, Todd. I know you were talking about water. What are you using for your water?
I'm gonna use what I used on the previous layout. And it worked good for me. Man, hold on. If you want to say nothing, Geno, I could have. It's right on the tip of my tongue. It's like a clear coat epoxy finish for, like, you know, wood or whatever. I got it from Home Depot. Super glaze, part super glaze. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Okay. That's a 2-part mixture.
Yeah. What's that? The epoxy and the hardener. Yep. And I think this time around I might tint it, because I watched a couple videos, guys, you know, with tint it while, you know, they was mixing it to go ahead and have the color in it. And once they poured it, man, it looked. So I think that maybe I'll just go with like a dark color, just to, you know, get rid of this wood look, and, you know, have it to where, you know, maybe black here, and it, you know, fades off to a lighter color here where, you know, the shallow water would be, and, you know, a lot of epoxy and see how it turns out. And Guy gave me another tip as far as making ripples or whatever. Because what I was using was the the Woodland Scenics realistic water or whatever, where you make the waves and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
He said to get you one of those little fans, either one that plugs in through the outlet or one that uses a USB. And he said right before it starts to get real hard, just put the fan on and let it blow the waves off in it like that. And I saw his, and whew, I wish I had a picture of it now so I could show you guys. But man, it looked real nice. It looked real nice. Back to the center. This is still in the river scene area. As you can see, I still have more work to do over here. Like I stopped because I got to a point where I was like, I really didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. Is the camera on the layout on me? I'm not sure right now.
Got a comment from Bruce Talk. He says, you got the right railroad, go Union Pacific.
Say that again?
I got a comment from Bruce. He said, he sees you got the right railroad, go Union Pacific.
Hey, I appreciate it. But to be honest with you, I'm in love with KCS. But, I mean, I had a couple people ask me, what railroad are you running, and all of that. I'm like, any of them. Because, I mean, I got Norfolk Southern, Union Pacific, Kansas City Southern, Canadian National. I mean, what, CSX? Any engine that catches my eye, man, I say, hey, I like it, probably going to run it.
There you go.
Yeah, I just one rule I go by with my layout now, it applies to everybody, your layout, your rules,
That's right.
Whatever floats your boat to find your lost remote. That's what I say. But, yeah, this is the lumber company. Let me go back over here. I got switches for all the for the lights in the buildings and everything. I guess they came on. Nope. Well, anywho. Yeah, this is the town scene that I was working on. Now, in the original track plan, in this area here, Bill had drew up a baseball field. And, the more I got to looking at it, I said, well, it's a good idea, but I think I'll do something different. So what I ended up doing was just, paving a little road here that just veers off into nowhere, which I got some more masonite left. I'm, close that in, paint it. Well, I just might put it up and just wait till I get, a backdrop. Just put the backdrop back there. The thing with the backdrops is finding the right one that, fits the scene that, you're modeling.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Are you thinking about getting a photo backdrop, or are you going to try to paint it yourself?
Photo backdrop. Photo backdrop. Now, I thought about painting myself, but those photo backdrops, man, every layout that I've seen with a photo backdrop, it just made it stand out that much more.
Good, good.
So, that's probably the route that I'll go with. This area here, I at least want to put one more little small building here, and I think I end up going with like a little alleyway here, to, for little delivery trucks, garbage men, garbage services and all that, and still have yet to paint everything up.
Hey, while you're right there in that area, what are you using for your rock croppings? Are you making them yourself, or you?
This area here.
Uh-huh.
Woodland Scenics. What's that? The not motor scene. What is it?
Plaster Paris?
No, in some areas I use plaster Paris, but this is the what is that? Somebody help me out. Yellow and Black Cotton by Woodland Scenics.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it right now. But that's what Hydrocal. Yeah, I'm using that. Now I got the matter of fact, here we go. I got the moles here, and depending, what I like to do to kind of change them up is I might pour them thick, might pour them shallow, and in some areas I'll break them up. Like right here in this area here, you can see I just broke them up. And this is what I was saying earlier about how some of the color variations is different. Which, like I said, I wish I would have did all of it at one time, but in a way, I mean, it's not too bad. I could always go back and change it up a little bit.
Did you make your own molds, or are you using the rubber mold?
Using a rubber mold. This is one of them here. The other one is somewhere around here. But yeah, this is one of the two that I use. And on the scenery, all woodland scenics, fine turf, bushes, the foliage for the vines, which that was my first time trying it, and I think it turned out pretty good. As far as the vines and all that, I think it turned out pretty good. And I messed around with the autumn mix just to see how it would look, because I wanted different variations of colors, just instead of all dark green, light green, little hints of yellow and all that. I just wanted, especially in this area here, just a bunch of color.
I don't know if you've seen it, but Ron Class put out a video this week about making your own ground foam.
I saw that.
If you hadn't watched it, you need to watch it. It's real good.
I saw it, and I've seen the pictures that he posted on Facebook, and that's one times I just stopped and just stared at a picture for at least 2 minutes, just like, man, that looks good.
I'm gonna try that. It turned out good in the video. I'm sure it will. It's simple, and I'm gonna try to make me up a batch of it. But if you hadn't watched it, check out Ron's channel. It's homemade ground foam. It's a good deal.
This is another thing I did. Like I said, sometimes, man, I have wild ideas in my head. The one thing that I hate is getting up under the layout, for almost everything. Mm-hmm. So what I ended up doing was coming up with this little idea. So there's my 5 amp booster. So I mean, if anything goes wrong, I can just come here. And I also made another one for all my circuit breakers, which is right here. One for the yard and one for the main. These here are block animators, logic rail. And I was telling Geno before the show got started, they are giving me fits. They giving me the flux, I promise you. The one thing I can't figure out, I believe what the problem is, I have the detectors and the emitters maybe in the wrong location. Well, right there goes green, but it's like, I don't know. I read up on it, and for some reason, with the BLMA signal bridge, as far as having the approach light on at all times, it won't work with the cantilever signal bridge by BLMA. You have to have it off. So in other words, reading up on it, it's kind of like the signal bridges on the West Coast, which they'll stay dark until the train approaches, then the light will come on. It says somebody, saves, battery life or whatever, because they was like on the West Coast they run off batteries. What was that?
Yeah, they call that approach lit. That's real common on the West Coast. On the East Coast, we normally keep all our lights on for some reason. I guess we're not very energy efficient, but on the West Coast, they seem to do that a lot.
That's what it is?
Yeah, they're all green and environmentally friendly out there. Us, we just burn the lights all the time.
That's right. We need lights.
What you know.
Let them burn.
And if there's anybody out there with any, knowledge on logic rail and wiring up a signal bridge by BLMA, please get in contact with me, because like I said, right now this thing is giving me fits. I think really it's just a matter of putting the emitters and the detector in the right areas, which Another thing too, for the signal bridge, you have to have 2 animators, which I didn't know that until I started winding up, and I'm like, okay, well, only one signal head is working. I went back and read it, and it was like you need 2. So I just got the second one in back here yesterday, I want to say, and I came in and I just wired it up just to make sure that the lights and all that was working. That's another hassle right there, is the fact that DLMA don't have the wires color coded. The only wires that's color coded is the common anode. That's it. The rest of them you got to sit there and test them and see which light is which. But after about 45 minutes going through that, I finally got everything sorted out. That's like I was telling Geno, I think what I'm going to end up doing is going back and use terminal strips for everything. I think that would, well, I know for a fact that'll help with the wiring and whatnot. Because right now I just got a little temporary wire running right here for the second one, just to test it and see how it works out.
Barry might get a hold of Barry. He might be able to help you out with that too now.
Good deal. Like I said, that goes for anybody that's watching the show. Know anything about them? Please let me know. I'm gonna run a train over now. We're gonna see what's gonna happen.
All right.
Okay. We see how it flashes.
I can't really see it from here.
You can't. And right now it's off. Let's see what's gonna happen once we approach the other emitter. And see, it just cleared it. I think I got it set on the 10-second delay, if I'm not mistaken. And nothing happened.
And there's a fella by the name of Stephen Bennett that has a YouTube channel, and he has those signal bridges hooked to JMRI and CMRI to control them, and he has done a whole series of videos on hooking them up and controlling them, and it's an absolute must watch. First, I'm a guru. I mean, I really love CTC and signal systems, so his is one of those series on signals that's a must watch for the electronics.
Okay. And
come to think of it too, I think NS Modeler 24 has got a series on that too.
He does.
Who's that?
And Muskoke Steve, who was on our channel talking about signaling, also done a series on how to do that with NCE specifically. So there's an NCE example, a Digitrax example, and a CMRI/JMRI example. So YouTube, wonderful place.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good, because that's actually what I'm using for my JMRI is the NCE USB panel. I actually have it mounted up under the lower level station guard, and I'll definitely look into that as far as controlling the signals through JMRI. Couldn't hurt. That's one thing I didn't show you guys was the lower level station. We'll get to that.
What kind of DCC system do you have right now? Digitrax, NCE?
NCE.
Okay.
With a 5 amp power booster, the SB5.
Absolutely. I love that system too. And JMRI is a must. But Muskoke Steve done a whole series on how to use the NCE with signaling. Although you can use NCE with several other things. You can use Digitrax signals with it as well. I personally am going to use CMRI. That's worth looking into. You might have some interest in that.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I didn't get a chance to show you guys the lower level station, so I'm going to turn the camera around. Okay. What I ended up doing was going with some rope lighting. And this is one of, I want to say, maybe 5 cameras that I have installed, to where I can look up at my monitor up there, which right now I don't have it, on the layout or whatever. But I can look up there and see all the trains on the lower level staging yard. I even got one mounted inside the helix, just in case there's any problem there. I could go and go right to the problem if it's ever one. Let's see. don't smoke. They say secondhand smoke is the worst one. I'm glad I made the right choice. But there's another one there, and like I said, I got one mounted in the helix. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. I'm gonna zoom in. Can you guys see it?
No.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
It's mounted inside the helix. I got one up there, you know, for the overview, and one point directly outside. I think I might end up putting one more on the other side because this one, it really doesn't reach all the way over to the other side. It just really focuses on this area. So I think I might, before it's all said and done, end up going with another one. That was like, I want to say that was like one of the, maybe the third thing I decided to do once I came out here. And, you know, I got to thinking about the lower level stages. Y'all, I seen Arthur Houston had did something similar. And it was so much. Say that again?
What camera system are you using?
Swan. Yep, Swan. Got it from Lowe's. I want to say around, it's close to the holidays, close to Christmas, so they kind of like had it on sale. So I ended up getting that. And when I first got here, man, my lighting was terrible. It was terrible. I had just one LED light just hanging from right here. You see the little electrical cover, and I went with track light, which is good, except for the fact I only have maybe, give or take, I think like 4 LED bulbs. The rest of them are, you know, regular bulbs. Hot as all outdoors. So, yeah. And the thing about those specific bulbs for these lights cost like $10 a pop. So, I mean, you're looking at $10 for some lights, and then you're looking at, hey, that's ballast. Hey, that's, you know, ground cover. I think I'll go that route first before, you know, I go with the lighting, because, you know, right now it's all right. I can see, but, you know, I think eventually I'll get around to that, you know, throwing more LEDs in.
Have you thought about how many trains you're going to try to run in your op sessions when you get up and go, and how many operators you want to have?
Say that again?
Have you thought about, once you get your op sessions up and going, have you thought about how many trains you're going to try to run with how many operators?
No, I'll be honest with you, I haven't, because this is the one thing that I kind of hate about, you know, the town that I live in. As far as I know, there's only maybe 2 guys in my area. One of them I really don't know. The other one is Christopher.
Mm-hmm.
Lives maybe 19 miles up the road from me, up in Zama. He would be, you know, probably one of the only ones that if I ever get around to doing an op session that he could come up. Now, there's a local club in Jackson. I could probably, you know, get in touch with a couple guys down there, because I've been down there a couple times and have them come up and run an op session. There's also a guy that invited me to the Rail Fest in Meridian.
Right.
You know, he's modeling too. I mean, I could probably get in touch with him and get him to come do an op session. Have to forgive me, I can't remember his name right now. If you're watching, I apologize. But, yeah, he invited me up, man, had a good time. And that's the only thing. As far as, you know, interacting with other modelers, this is it. You know, Hangouts, Facebook, you know, which in a way is, you know, it's all right, but, you know, it'd be fun to have, you know, other operators in here, and, you know, you got a real good op session going on, man. That would be fun.
I was looking at the way you got your camera set up there. You could probably do an op session on a Hangout if you got your cameras wired into your computer.
You know, we've talked about that a few times, Geno. I've tried to do the same thing. There's no local modelers for me. So I put cameras above my layout as well. And with JMRI, you can have web throttles. So it's entirely possible if they can see their train and see the cameras, and they could run a throttle and they can for sure dispatch remotely, but you could have an operator or two running trains with you, somebody dispatching. I mean, technology's an amazing thing these days with decent internet. No reason why not.
I'll definitely look into that. Because that would be fun. That would be fun.
Well, give me a shout sometime. I'm trying to work on that too, so maybe we can collaborate and see if we can figure that out.
That'll work.
I know
That'll
NS Modeler 24 has done it where he had somebody dispatch remotely, dispatch his layout. That don't seem too tricky. Running trains,
Right.
I know we can figure that out. I got cameras, you got cameras. JMRI lets you do that.
Right.
Hey, that might be a good topic for another hangout.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, I mean, we got so many of us that are taking advantage of the internet as our community for model railroading. I don't have anybody local to me, but I'm building and operating railroad, so it's like talking. These are natural extensions of this. So
Lee posted up here that NS Model 24 has done it. So I'm assuming that makes it possible. That might be something.
yeah, he put a video up showing one of his buddies running some trains on there, showing it was technically possible, but not to the extent of a full-blown operating session. That it's technically possible. It's just a matter of putting it all together and the organization and stuff. And I build and sell phone systems for a living, so doing the communication part shouldn't be a problem either. So,
Right. Another thing I was telling you guys while I was talking to you about it, Andy, was let me turn my camera around again. Was this area here, along where the diesel house is. A lot of room. I'm trying to, think of some trackside structures that maybe I could go with. I'd love to have like a little, little gravel road to come through here, little parking area for vehicles or whatever. Maybe a couple, dead end tracks, old servicing tracks, where I just got, wheels or whatever, spare parts, and all of that. I know I'd like to have a sanding tower, a yard tower, interlocking tower, whichever one, maybe both. It's just I don't like the idea of this whole space here just not being utilized. Now I was thinking about putting in an extra turnout in, and just have it maybe servicing a little facility over here. But what facility
The maintenance way yard right there too.
Say that again.
The maintenance way yard right there would be good too.
Okay.
that's what I was thinking. A RIP or RIP tracks where they repair in place, where you'd have like a maintenance facility where they repaired cars, a wheel shop with a bunch of wheels. There's a lot of things to do. The one thing that I personally like, and that I've seen you already do on your layout, like the bridge, the division of seats, is doing little things so the train's disappearing behind things. So some buildings where you're having toward the up above track level, it makes the layout feel bigger because of the breaks in the flow of the train. So, and you got all that room right there. So,
Right. Oh, let me pan the camera around again because one area on the layout I didn't completely touch on. Now this area here is another town area, and I was talking to Stephen Atwell. This guy where I purchased a lot of my all of my turnouts, some of my scenery and whatnot I purchased from them. And I came to him with the idea of maybe either taking a piece of foam, piece of hardboard or whatever, and what I was thinking about doing was dividing this area right here in between this corner to kind of separate the town scene from the facility. But talking with him about it, he was like, well, probably wouldn't be a good idea because of the way that, it's sitting. So I don't know what, I really would like to, block this off to where once you come around, once you make this turn here, yeah, you'll be able to see the diesel house or whatever. And then, you have to come on over here and you kind of look around the view block to see, the rest of the city scene or whatever. That's just something that I like to do is like break up every scene, like I said, and then, make the layout seem larger than what it actually is. That's one thing I could say about the view block that Bill came up with. I'll pan around and show you guys.
Yeah, it makes the layout feel so much larger.
Exactly.
You wouldn't think it would. In a house, little rooms make a house feel small. But on
Right.
a layout, these little sub-scenes, these little small stories, keep make the layout, me personally, make the layout feel so much bigger. And the layouts I'm so impressed with, they're not necessarily the biggest ones, but the ones with these little viewlets, these little viewports.
Right. And some of my friends, even my brothers and my sisters, I got a little nephew that just loves it out here, man. I have to drag him out of here. I have to drag him out of here. When they first walked in, they was like, "Oh, this is nice." Oh, okay. Then they walked around and said, "Oh, you got all of this too." And I seen exactly what it was that Bill was talking about. I said, "Okay, yeah, it really does make it seem larger than what it actually is."
Mm-hmm. You could probably block it off with a little area of trees, a little thick area of trees right there, Taki. You wouldn't have to.
I was actually thinking about that, Geno. I was actually thinking about that. Think that'll work out pretty good?
Yeah. That's what I've done that to a corner over here on mine. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to put there, and I wound up just putting a good grouping of trees with some big ground cover, for like hedge bushes up under the trees. And worked out good.
What did you do? Just go.
Geno, and it makes the layout look like you have this city scene, this other one, and it's especially on your layout, it really looks divisive, separate scenes.
Right.
Well, I'm in such a small area, I've got to break it up, just kind of make it seem like it's going somewhere other than just in a circle.
So what, you just went with all trees just in a flat area? Did you put any little hills or anything? Or you just...
Yeah, I've got just a little raised area, just a little piece I think I used a half-inch piece of foam, and
okay,
just to kind of raise it up just enough to notice. I mean, it's not no big area.
Right.
Filled it in with trees and then made the hedges down at the bottom so you can't actually see through the trunk area, It just like a big group of trees with some hedge rows. Right. And it blocks off a little corner just perfect.
What did you use? Super trees? You made your own, or?
I used Bob's, a lot of Bob's trees.
Okay.
I used, I don't know if you watched Joey Ricard and his trackside scenery.
Yeah, I made a couple of his videos. Yeah.
I made some of his trees, and it turned out pretty good.
Okay.
They make really nice, Joey's trees make really nice background trees, and they're so full you can't see through them. For foreground trees, not so much, but because you want to see through them. But for what you're doing for a view block, put those trees in the background. I do the same thing on my layout. They're very thick and dense, but as you move forward on the trees, you can kind of see through them. So they're like trees. But to make that view block, a lot of people use that polyfoam. He uses whatever Joey Ricard uses that material.
Filter. Air filter.
Yeah, furnace filter. It looks good in the background. I use that polyfill sub. And it looks good in the background. And some people I've seen Joe Fugit do where he'll make a bunch of trees to build up his background, and then he'll go back and stuff that polyfill painted a really dark color back in there, deep in there, so that it's not possible to see through it.
Is that the guy that's using the filters from like air conditioners or whatever? Using those filters?
That's
the guy.
Yes.
Okay.
I've had a hard time using those. They're a little coarse, in my opinion. And for O scale, like what he does, they work pretty well for vines, but in HO scale, I've found, for me personally, they're a little too coarse, and I've still been using the Woodland Scenics polyfill, and I have experimented with some batting from Walmart that or something that you put in pillows and stuff that looks the same that I paint gray. It looks the same as that polyfill, but it's a little, it's more delicate.
Okay. It's another video I watched. I don't know. I watched so many videos, man. Y'all have to forgive me. I can't remember some of the people's names, but this guy made some tall pine trees. He used skewers, and I'm trying to think of the other material they used. He was making pine trees. Trying to think of the material that he used.
Well, I've done one with a skewer like that, whatever, for a pine tree. And then for foreground trees, these are sage with super tree material glued to them.
How tall are those?
That one's about 13 inches. So
Okay.
in HO scale, that would be 100 feet. 90.
Right.
But I think in modeling, we've went too far with selective compression, in my opinion. We make our buildings too small to where they don't look like they could satisfy the boxcar loads. And I think we make trees too small. I really like the big, large trees.
Okay.
I do too.
And that's something else I need to go back and do too. As far as some of my trees, one of the only reason where you can see the height difference is the fact that I have the hills in it. And, you know, you got trees, you know, going along the hill or whatever. Like especially along the backdrop, I like to have, you know, some taller trees. And since Geno, you brought up that idea about the, you know, using the trees for the view block, I'm definitely gonna have some tall trees there. So I think maybe my next purchase will probably be some of those super trees.
Oh,
You know, just to try a couple of them out and see how they look.
Yeah, I love the
That's fine.
super tree. That's how I make the canopy of mine is with super trees. And then I make some of those trees like that take too long. But the regular super trees, you get a lot of them. That $100. I started with a $27 box, and I got a lot. But I bought one of the $100 boxes. I've been working on that for months, and it's covered area. You get a lot of material, and all the scraps of the little pieces at the waist, I glue them down low to the surface. I paint them or dye them black, glue them down low, and then put some leaf flake on top of them. They look the closest thing to briar bushes and brambles and stuff of anything I can find.
What I end up doing is after the show, I go back because I have all my videos saved on, you know, in the history on YouTube. I'll find that video and I'll post it to the Facebook page and on the Google Plus page. Because what this guy did, he took the skewers and he took you know, the little utility knife or whatever. I want to say he took the back of it and just roughed it up a little bit and then painted it. Which when he was doing, I was like, okay, I don't quite understand what it is you're doing. But once he applied the paint to it and went back and highlighted it, I promise you, it looked just like real bark. It looked just like real bark. I was like, okay, that's something that, you know, I like to try. Now, as far as the super trees, it comes with the foliage and all of that, right? Or is it just the trees themselves?
No, it's just material.
Yeah, it'll come with a little sample pack or two of, depending on which box you buy, of the leaf flake material, which I do like, and I use the Scenic Express Super leaf flake, whatever they call that stuff, especially for background trees or whatever. But for me personally, I don't find it hardly large enough for big HO scale trees. My favorite company for that is a company called Selkirk, Selkirk, Selkirk Leaf, out of Canada. All they make is leaf flake. It's absolutely first-class leaf flake material. I could show you some of it after the show. I'll show you some of theirs versus Scenic Express because I have some of both. Knock makes good stuff too, but something you mentioned earlier when you were talking about your scenery is the diversity. You know, you look at the mountains, you see trees of all kinds of sizes and shapes and colors. You know, trees aren't green. They're 79 different shades of green. So I bought leaf flake from all kinds of companies and experimented with and liked different ones and used all of them in different places.
Okay.
Can you see that picture? Am I presenting?
Yes, sir.
See that's that area that I was talking about, the trees. Where I used the hedge, just in that. All that is just a little corner, and there's another track running behind all that.
And you can't see through it. It's dense as it can be. Yeah.
Okay. What about what is that? Static grass. Are you guys using it or plan on using it?
Yeah, I built. Go ahead.
Say that again, Geno.
I use it. I know. Go ahead, Andy, and tell them what you want to do.
So yeah, all I did is built an applicator. I find it just second. Same one everybody else builds though, $2 bug zapper with a little filter on the front of it. It works great for like 4 or so millimeter or less. Now the really tall grasses, which I'm really fond of, I'm on Appalachian Mountain Railroading, so big tall weeds is a big part of it. I use Woodland Scenics, the taller grass, and I use paintbrush bristles for some of it, and I use some from a company called Sweetwater Scenery, and I cut it up and I roll it up like a cigar. This is Joey Ricard's trick, you know. None of this is original. It's how Joey Ricard does it too. Roll it up like a cigar, break it apart, spray adhesive down and let it tack up, and then push it in and pull away. And it makes these big old grass fields. Again, I'll show you what I've done with here in a few minutes when we're off video. I'll show you what I've done with my tall grass. I've got big fields of the stuff.
Okay.
But now the static grass is great for low profile grass and for filling in. But if you want to do the really tall grass, you've got to have a strong applicator. Like you've got to buy one, and they can be expensive. Or Luke Towan done a video on how to make one with a really strong ion generator that would probably do 6 and 8 mil grass.
Right. What about the notch static grass? I've seen a lot of folks use it. Is it pretty good?
Yeah, I like it. That's what I use.
Okay.
I've used a lot of the Doc grass in my applicator too. I just haven't been able to use the strong stuff. And Doc has a great applicator. It's just $190. So
Right. I saw that. Comes in a nice case.
But, you know,
I tried some of the Woodland Scenics static grass, and I don't know. Maybe I went, you know, too fine, you know, too short of grass or whatever. But I could not get it to raise. Man, it turned out looking more like felt than anything. So
I have not had good luck with the Woodland Singlet static grass either.
Really?
No, mostly what I use is through Scenic Express, but I use the knock too.
Okay.
The Scenic Express just seems to stand up a whole lot better for me personally. Not knocking Woodland Singlets, I just have not had any luck with it.
Right.
Static grass.
And I mean that's the same assumption I was under. I was like, well, static grass is static grass until I tried it, and no, that's definitely not the case. Definitely not the case.
yeah, the Woodland Scenic static grass is really matte or really flat in color. It's not real punchy. The Doc static grass has a lot more color to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want the flatter or whatever, but I like that punchier color of the Doc. And it seems to stand up better. It works really good.
Right. And one of the areas that I really would like to try that static grass is right over there by the grain elevators. I think that would look real nice right there in that area. And this area here behind me too, as well, along the tracks or whatever. I think that would really make it stand out even more.
That's one thing about that static grass now. Once you start using it, you won't go back to nothing else.
Yeah.
And you will cover the layout of the stuff. I have, and there is. You look in the world, grass is sticking up through the concrete. It's beside the railroad. It's beside every building. And I've got grass everywhere.
Well, let me ask you guys this. As far as, when you see I already got some ground cover down, would it still, do well with the ground cover that I have down?
Yeah, a lot of people do static grass over the foam. They'll put the thin layer of ground foam down first to get the backing or the back color or something.
Right.
I put dirt down myself, sifted dirt, and then I static grass over that. So if there's and then I pour grass on top or dirt on top of the grass so that it covers the shiny glue. But a lot of people put it right over ground foam. Be fine.
Right. Now that's one of the techniques that I use, especially take the camera back and zoom in. The areas close to the track. One thing that I really wanted to do was, as you can see here, this is one area. I went with, the earth color, the earth blend. I wanted it, close to the rails to be kind of dark. That way, once I put the ballast down, that, it will stand out. I had a couple people ask me, well, why did you go turf first and not ballast track? I was like, well, on my previous layout, I didn't too much like how it turned out. It's like, having the turf or whatever sitting on top of the ballast, I didn't like the feel of it. So I decided just to, experiment, see how it would turn out with putting the scenery down first and then going back with the ballast. And maybe going back over it with maybe a little weathering powder here or there, kind of add some color to it. Because I had asked the guy about going with like a blended. Well, no, I take that back. I asked him about going with a different color on the main line than with the yard and the siding. Going with different color ballast. He was like, well, save you some money. You could just buy the medium ballast and then just take some India ink and just dab it here and there. And that'll give it a different variation of color. I was like, well, okay, it's definitely worth a try. So I think I might give that a try. Just find a little area to test it on and see how well it turns out.
I'll go back usually on mine where if I'm laying ballast or once it settles in, I'll go back and use my weathering wash on it and just brush it over. I'll use black wash or a gray wash and kind of tint it.
Over the what? How do you?
Ballast. Because I wanted the prototypical railroads. The main line ballast is always fresher than the sidings and the yards or whatever. And I wanted to have that type of variation on this layout. And I was asking him about just. He was like,
yeah, I've used like that where I stayed the center of that. That's with India inks. But
that's what he suggested.
Yeah,
that's what he suggested.
And I've done that a lot too, and I really like India ink for a lot of things. However, I will say, I love different opinions. The beautiful thing about the internet, you get a lot of different takes.
Right.
George Celios, and man, that's a hard guy to argue with. Okay, that's that's success in everything for building a railroad. Really, he uses oils. So I've been using, and I started using a lot of oils in weathering here lately. I'd always used acrylics, and I was always kind of scared of oils. But I've been using these oil washes with turpentine and oil.
Yep.
They are so, again, like talking about the color static grass, they're so punchy. They're so, you got to be careful with them. They are wonderful. Right. And like on the rock work, I take a skewer and put little dots of oil paint, or just little dots of oil of like mineral deposits or whatever, and then take a brush with just turpentine and brush it down, just like I'm doing the rust streaks on freight cars. I'm really enjoying the oils. I'm totally new to them, but I'm really enjoying them.
Okay.
I've swapped over to a set of oils myself, so and I'm like Andy. I've used acrylics forever.
Yeah.
But recently got into the oils, and I really like the results with them too.
Well, and they seem expensive because these little tubes are not cheap.
No,
but I'm telling you, a dot of that stuff goes forever. I feel like I could use these tubes for decades.
Yeah. Definitely does not take much.
No, I used a bunch of acrylics forever.
Taki, I got a couple of questions in your building.
Okay, shoot.
Did you build that, or was that one of those pre-built, dropped off on a truck type deals?
What's that? The layout?
Your shed.
Yeah. Matter of fact, it's Dirksen, as a matter of fact. And really what it was, because I kind of knew where I wanted to have my, door and how I wanted the layout position. The only thing I told them was, and I think in the end I saved myself like maybe $1,300 on the final cost, no windows, and I moved the door. The reason why I didn't want windows is because the one thing I don't want is, somebody just coming in, snooping and trying to see what it is I got going on. And that's another reason why, you guys probably haven't seen me on Hangouts or, posting a lot on Google Plus, because me and my wife had that happen to us back here a couple months ago. Someone broke into our home.
So it was a pre-built. They brought it in on a trailer.
Yeah, it just dropped off. Yep.
So you didn't have to put no foundations or nothing like that in. You just had to have a fairly level spot. And
yeah, found
they block and level it. or did you have to block and level it yourself?
They block leveled it. They leveled it and everything.
Did they?
How about the interior? Did you put the sheetrock and the lights up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did the installation. I had a friend of mine's father to come through and do the electrical, but the installation of the sheetrock was done by me and my cousin, and he just never did get back around to mudding, because that's what he does for a living. He does sheetrock. So I was like, well, I'm not going to too much worry about the mud right now, because I mean I could always go back with some of that. I won't say hardboard, but that the material that they use sometimes in bathrooms around the showers or whatever.
Concrete board.
Exactly. I could, I'll probably end up going with, some of that just to bend it right here in these corners or whatever. When I do decide to get the photo backdrop, to stick instead of it just being, on a corner where, and all it'll be like, natural flowing.
I'm using metal aluminum flashing, metal flashings, 24 inches, 20 inches wide, metal flashing to just, for my backdrop, because the photo backdrops stick to it so easy. But a lot of people use just styrene, big old 4x sheets of styrene just to make that just in the curve.
Right. Where did you get your photo backdrop?
I'm looking at a few of them. I have looked at a few of them. But I had a couple of people, and I won't mention names of it, price out what it was going to cost me to do all this, and it was high. I'm not sure it's not worth it, and I'm not, I'm not abject to spending that money if it's worth it. But it was a lot of money. I mean, it was close to $2,000, so that's a lot of money. So I found some places online where you could get the photos as CD. It's not downloadable, but they'll mail you a CD that has high resolution photos of mountains and stuff. And my local print shop can print up to 50 foot on a roll, and they want like $1.50, $1.75 a foot. So if I did a full 50 foot, it'd be $80 or $75 or $80. I have to do a little work in Photoshop to stretch it out or whatever, but I haven't done that yet. But that's my thinking now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Back to your buildings there. So what was your cost for that 12 by 20, if you don't mind saying?
I think as is cash price on it, I think I end up spending like $3,700.
That's not bad at all. $3,700.
Not bad at all. Matter of fact,
because that doesn't have a foundation or anything, did you have to pull any special permits from your county or township or anything?
Nope. And that's the one thing that I looked into because our home is in a historical district, so they have limitations on what you can and can't do. So I went out there and I, talked to the guy, building inspector or whatever. He was like, no, you won't need a permit or nothing. I'll come out and, look at it or whatever. And fortunately, he was right next door talking to one of my neighbors, and I, told him to come over. He was just like, once you get the building out there, you're fine. But once you get ready to start doing electrical, get in touch with me because I have to come out and look at it.
Right.
And like I said, fortunately, he was next door across the street at my neighbor's house. And I had called him over, and I was like, I got the electrical done. I want you to come take a look at it. He looked around, and the only problem that he could find was I needed an access door to access everything, which I went and did that. And I got it located right up there. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also have another area here, access point for my cameras or whatever.
Are those 8-foot sidewalls?
Say that again?
The sidewalls, are they 8 foot tall, 10 foot tall?
8 foot. 8 foot.
Yeah, that's not bad. Now, okay, so that was great. In my area, any kind of, even a dog house, you got to get a permit for. It's just crazy.
Really? Yeah.
But now you're wanting to expand, which we all want to do. Are you going to go with another 12 by 20? Are you going to go straight out the back so you got a 40-foot long? Or are you going to do an L-shaped or T-shaped? What's your plans?
Be honest with you, I've been thinking about it, and more than likely it's going to end up being more of a T-shape. And I'm probably going to end up going with a 12 by 32. But this one here, I really want it, because, the reason why I say 12 by 32 is because I say maybe 6 foot of it, I just want it, just a little sitting area where I could just, sit, relax out, chill, in case somebody come over. And that's not authentic trains or whatever. Like around the holidays, you know how it is. The men. Eventually, the men folk will gravitate and do men things, and the women will, be in one area doing women things. So it'd be a nice place to come and, sit and just, relax and decide to, run trains, open the door, go in, boom. And
are you planning on putting an AC in there for the summertime?
Oh yeah, I have AC running now. I'm surprised you guys don't hear it. I have AC in it right now, and little small window unit, as a matter of fact. And if I leave this joker going for, let's say I leave to go to work at 7 o'clock, and I have it running up until the time I get off work, I would just about have to come in here with a jacket. I would have to run over here and shut it off, because it's just that well insulated.
And you have no windows to help radiate heat, so that's
exactly.
Good. Yeah.
That helps a lot. And it's nice and pleasant. It's nice and pleasant in here.
And one last question I had for you is you said you had a camera on the outside looking outwards?
Right.
Is that to let you know, to give you a pre-warning your wife's on her way?
Smart guy. My man. Exactly. Yeah, it gives me maybe a 30-second window. I see it coming and it's like, okay, well, I wonder what this could be about. Let me stop what I'm doing. And, and it also, at the same time, because I'm not going to say the majority of my time, but a good percentage of my time on the weekends, I'm back here. And sometimes I have, my family members that come by quite naturally, it's instinct. You're going to go to the house, you're going to knock on the house door, ring the doorbell or whatever. This is where I can see them. And I could call them and say, hey, I see you, come on back to the shed. I'm out here in the shed or whatever.
Gotcha.
And,
Thanks, Taki. That's
no problem. Now, with the other shed, the 12 by 32, the one adjustment that I will make is the fact that I have it more on with the garage doors. The only thing is, because, you can have these things custom made. I don't want the garage door. I just want the opening. I don't want the garage door. Just give me the opening. That way, when they drop it, it'll line up it'll line up perfectly with the door that I have right here. Right. And the only thing that I end up doing is, tying that in, removing this door off the hinge, and having a little walkway. That I also especially right here in the yard area. Well, I take that back. It wouldn't be on the yard area. It'd be over there where the gravel company is. I could just, on one of those turnouts, I could just shoot it straight through the wall. Right. And boom, there's a whole nother area. And the one thing that I really, really want on the layout, which, I hadn't got a chance to around to doing, which I could do it on this one, but I have to go with the third level. I just want a nice little distance of maybe 4 feet of nothing but scenery. No industries, no nothing, just scenery. And then all of a sudden, boom, there goes a town, there goes an industry, and, like that.
To give you a better sense.
Growing up, one of the houses that we stayed in, the railroad track ran right directly behind the house. At the time, it was Central Illinois Gulf. I can't remember. It used to run right behind the house, and every morning I would be out there, looking at the trains. I even got brothers, sisters that ask me now, been with you, I've known you all my life. What is it about you and trains? Well, I looked at one of my brothers and said, well, what is it about you and your fascination with dogs? I got a brother that loves dogs. The other one loves working on cars. I was like the same feeling that you get off working on cars or, breeding your dogs or whatever, same thing I get off the train. It's something that I want to do since I was 5 years old. Parents couldn't afford it. And my wife was at the hobby shop one day just, browsing around. And boom, it started from there with the little Bachman sectional track, the little 4x8 oval. And it went crazy from there.
Boy, it don't take much, does it? That little spark.
Oh no, that's it. And man, I was bit by the hobby.
I was in the hobby when I was young. And I spent years and years away from the hobby, women, cars, careers, all the various things. And then just all of a sudden one day, just that little spark, and I didn't let go of it for a long time. And now I'm, my wife says I spend most of my time doing this as well.
Right. Right.
It went from that little spark that reignited that too. But.
Well, if me and my wife's work schedule was kind of, different than what it is, I'm pretty sure that she'll be on me more than kind of what she is now. I kind of got a little leeway by her being a store manager and me being a merchandiser. Most of my days end at 2:30 at the latest. So from 2:30 up until on an early day for her would be like maybe at 7 o'clock. From 2:30 to 7 o'clock, I got a nice little window to play with. And
so that's my problem, is my work schedule, because I need that leeway too. I'm going to figure a trick out on this.
Right. That's why I was saying, I love working first shift. I love working first shift. Nothing like it. Gives me, more time to come out here and get some things done within maybe a 2-hour, 3-hour period, and, go in the house and, relax, rest up, get ready for work.
But like most serious modelers, the guys who have huge railroads that they've spent a building, that are in all the magazines and all the videos, all those guys, their biggest thing is 15, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, that little bit of time every day on it. Just get a little something done, and I do my level best. There's some days that are just flat, I ain't into it, I've worked too much.
Right.
Nearly every day, I try to put a few minutes in.
Right. That's really how I was yesterday. I just got kind of burnt out, man, messing around with this, with the Logic Rail animators. I wasn't even expecting to get the second one in the mail as fast as it came. It arrived yesterday. And I looked at it, I said, well, the least I could do is go ahead and mount it in here, get it pre-wired up and everything, and, see how it turned out. And you know what, I went from there. I wired it up, printed it out and all that, and I just walked away from it. I said, man, I'm getting too frustrated with it, so I just walked away from it.
Right. How many times you get something in the mail, you're like, well, I'll just take it in the layout or the railroad, or open it up, take a look at it or something. 6 hours later.
Yeah. I often tell my wife that she'll call me, on her way home from work. Where are you? You know where I am. I'm out in the lair. I'm out in the shed. Okay. I'll be in 30 minutes. This could be at 6 o'clock. It's 10:30, 11 o'clock when I'm going in the house. I mean, you'd be surprised. Well, maybe, they will be surprised how much time, how you could just get lost in time, man. Just, because, you focusing on this area. And when I'm out here, I have a certain area that I like to, try to knock out. I have a certain little thing that I want to do before I call it quits. And if I don't, I promise y'all, it would nag me to the point where I have to get up and come back out here and tackle it. Which I think,
the whole reason I'm into it too is because I can come in the trade room and the rest of the world is gone to me. All the stress, all the things I was worried about at work, totally disappears. Right.
And it just nagged. There's been times I've been laying in the bed and I've been thinking about how to go by approaching this and approaching that, and it just hit me. And I'm up. I'm out here in the shed. What are you doing? Where you going? Man, I got this idea stuck in my head, and if I don't get it out, I'm not going to sleep. So I run out here, I knock it out real quick, look at it. Okay, cool. Wait till I get off work the next day and come out here and finish it out.
Yeah.
But matter of fact, back here this weekend, I spent a good minute out here, man, just testing track and testing the circuit breakers to make sure that they were, that they were functioning properly. And luckily they were. When it's all said and done, right now I got it narrowed down to 2 blocks, just the main and the yard. I think I'm going to end up going with 2 more blocks.
Yeah.
Spread it out a little bit, bro.
Say that again.
Go ahead, Jim.
No, I was just going to tell him we've been talking about starting a Model Railroaders Anonymous.
Yeah.
Because many of us, I think, need some help.
Yeah. Look, man, My wife sometimes have to drag me out of here, man. Have to drag me out of here.
Well, the problem is we would all get together so we could help each other out with our model railroading addiction. And we would spend the whole time talking about weathering or a new product from Atherd or something.
Right.
We're never going to help each other with this addiction, okay? It ain't going to happen. We might learn some good techniques for making trees or roads, but we're not going to help ourselves.
Right.
We'd eventually have to start a Railroad Anonymous group for our Railroad Anonymous group.
Exactly. And that would lead to another group. That would lead to another anonymous group. All right. Yes, I have a problem.
Well, guys, we're going to wind this show up for tonight. We want to say thank you to Taki for sharing an update with us on his HH&J Railroad. Thank you very much, Taki. It was a fantastic show.
Thanks for having me.
Anybody on the panel got any final questions for Taki before we go?
Very good show, Taki. It's a really nice layout. You really covered it well. All the things that we have to think about with our railroads, you've done a really good job, and it's come a long way since we seen you a year ago and what you were doing then.
Thank you, Andy. I appreciate it.
Let's turn through. I want to give you applause.
Thank you.
Very good.
Because I'm a freelancer myself. I'm gonna go with like you do.
Good deal. Good deal. For anyone that's on Facebook, I have a Facebook page created HH&J Railroad.
The guy in the mountain.
It's HH&J. Is that what it's listed as?
The HH&J Railroad Facebook page. I also have one set up on Google Plus.
Okay.
And I often post on YouTube builders page and all of that. So, I mean, if you ever looking for just a quick update or anything, or just want to go back and look at some of the progress photos and videos, be sure to check it out.
Well, I just added you as a friend on Facebook, so just check me out, and I'll get you
that would be flashing across the screen. I got you.
Hey, brother.
That'd
be cool, man.
We got a question. What's your YouTube channel name?
YouTube channel is T Haywood 228.
Say it one more time.
T Haywood 228.
T Haywood 228.
Yes, sir. And I'll probably be posting another update video here in maybe the next week or two. I still got some kinks I want to work out, mainly the signals. So I figure once I get that finally knocked out, then yeah, I'll definitely shoot another update video.
For those that's interested, there is a after show hangout link posted.
Okay, good deal. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it, buddy. And I'll post Taki's YouTube channel in the comments on the show posting. So if you want to go back and check out his channel, I'll put it in the comment section on the show post on Google Plus, and I'll do it on the YouTube on the Facebook page as well.
Appreciate it.
Again, thanks, Taki. We appreciate it, buddy. Thanks. I want to say thanks to all the panel and everybody that watched tonight. We appreciate it. Don't forget to check out YouTube.com. You can find out all the information about the live show, the hangout presentations, Johnny's general hangout on Thursday night, and the EMAG. So y'all be sure to check out YouTubeModelBuilders.com. And for Tuesday night presentations and the Geno Show, we'll say thank you, and we'll see you on the next hangout. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Good night. Thanks again, Geno.